don't want them to gain another yard. You blitz all night! And if they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm gonna take every last one of you out. You make sure that they remember forever the night they played the Titans.
The margin for error is so small. I mean, one half a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. Winners win and losers lose. I can't explain it any better than that. I don't know how it happens. Well, winners win. And if you create a culture of losing, if you keep being a victim, if you keep letting losing happen to you, if you keep letting people do you and treat you any kind of way, it's going to become a culture.
Well, good evening, everybody. Game time, Brian here, and we have answers here. We have at least one answer that I believe is going to happen. As you see by the thumbnail, I believe this move will happen, should happen. Surprised if it don't happen. But before we get into him, let me just say we are at it again. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Relatively healthy. Again, we missed 4 out of our 5 offensive linemen. We were able to win a game in New York against the winless Jets, who almost beat Denver overseas. That was incredible. But regardless, week-to-week league, they're missing an opportunity right now with a weak NFC East. You got the Eagles leading the division, floundering. You got the Washington Commanders, floundering. You got the New York Giants, the only team to win. They got their second win. We're a half game ahead of them, the Dallas Cowboys. Really, the division is very, very close. This is the easier part of the Dallas schedule. Yet, they're not getting the job done. And we cannot blame the offense. The offense is doing their job. It did not do their job in Chicago. That's the one game, but I don't know that the defense did their job either. The defense, as we sit here, ranks 32nd overall, 31st against the run. Kenny Clark has come in and did a fine job, but he cannot do it all himself as far as stopping the run. Linebackers, we need to make a move in the linebacker area. We're getting DeMarvion Overshown back soon, but you just can't wait and hold your breath that he's going to stay healthy. You got Maris Leofau, seems to be a little bit hesitant in this defensive scheme. As we know, they're playing a lot of zone. They have the highest zone rate of any team in the NFL. They're playing more snaps at zone than any team by far. And yet they're not doing a good job in it. And you would say, well, why would you keep doing that? Well, that's a good question. Well, the rubber has hit the road. There has been a organizational meeting addressing this. Supposedly changes are now going to come. But I want to go back a little bit. Again, our offense is doing phenomenal right now without their number one wide receiver, without 3 of their offensive linemen. Dak Prescott did not get sacked at all last game. The pressure is coming up the middle. We need our starters back. Hopefully they'll start coming back soon. But as we go back to the trade here, and I'm gonna dig into my info here. As we go back to the trade for Micah Parsons, that was a move that should have been made 3, 4, 5 months prior, 6 months prior. After the season, they should have realized that they weren't going to be able to sign him, or from their account, they wanted to move on. They didn't want to allocate any more than $40 million to Micah. He said he didn't want to be the highest paid, and yet he is highest paid by over $7 million, or like right around there. He set the market and then some. So again, not all Cowboys' fault, but uh, it does take two to tango. But I would say, in large part, it is a front office issue. And listen, they have gotten burned. Some would say addressing contracts early. I do not hold them accountable for Trayvon Diggs. They signed him early. They addressed it. They wanted him, and he went and tore his ACL. That's just bad luck. You have to be able to go back into the water and do it again and again if you want to be able. I mean, unless you're drafting unbelievable and every your draft pick is hitting. That's not realistic. That's not realistic unless you're drafting in the top 10 every year, which there are not. I have the answer. An answer is multiple moves, but we're going to discuss one. First and foremost, we need to get a linebacker in here. It doesn't have to be a top flight linebacker. We're getting Overshown back, but we need somebody else in here to help. I don't know if they're going to do that. They're not going to address edge rusher. Okay. This video, we're going to just stand pat to Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams, I predict, will be the Cowboys' acquisition at the trade deadline. I believe they are ready, willing, and able to get this player. The Jets, believe it or not, Dallas, during the Micah trade, Dallas reached out to the New York Jets first. They went right to the Jets, and why would you say, well, look, why would they go to the Jets? Well, the defensive line coach, White Cotton, worked with the Jets, worked with Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams with the New York Jets. Dallas wanted Quinnen Williams and 2 number 1 picks. They didn't have the resources. You got to understand, Green Bay given 2 number 1 picks. They're expected to be drafted anything after 25 in the high 20s. It's a lot different than where the Jets sit. As we sit here right now in the standings, the Jets are 0-6. So if they're giving us 2 1s, it could potentially be literally 2 overall, top 5 picks. And they weren't willing to spend the $47 million annually for the player. Now, the reason why, and some would say, well, why is Dallas even bothering? Why is Dallas even going to make a move? They're not really a good team. Dallas is a very young team with Dak Prescott, who just turned 32, is playing phenomenal football, But this is why right here. You have the Philadelphia Eagles, okay? Philadelphia Eagles, 4-2. Points for, 142. Points against, 143. They are giving up more points than they're scoring. They have lost 2 games in a row. They're an average team at best. Eagle fans would say, yeah, but you really don't have that much major injury, at least nowhere near to the extent of what the Cowboys have. Yet, you're 1 game up in the loss column. That's the column that counts, the loss column. The win column, obviously we have a tie, but the Commanders are 503-3. Dallas is 2-3-1. And the Giants are 2-4. Now, Dallas has a head-to-head win against the Giants. Big game coming up this week. So, again, don't worry about the rest of the NFL, especially the NFC. It's all mediocre. Green Bay 3-1, not playing great. Okay, Detroit's 4-2, Minnesota's 3-2. That's probably the best division in the NFL. Chicago Bears, who beat us. Everybody said, "Oh my God, they're such a horrible team." Well, they're 3-2. Tampa Bay 5-1. Outside of that, 3-2, 3-3. Just look at it. Even if you do not win the division, it's all there for you. You have a whole season to go. Okay, if the last 2 weeks of the NFL season hasn't told anybody that, don't look at the schedule. Atlanta throttles Buffalo. Kansas City throttles Detroit. There's no rhyme or reason what's going on with this league. The Jets, winless, almost. It took a last second field goal to win by 2 the Denver Broncos, who just beat the Eagles. There's no rhyme or reason. Look, there's no juggernauts, people. Ifs and buts and, yeah, there are teams that could get hot. The NFC is wide open. So stop saying they're out of it, they stink. No, they're not. You got to go make a move. And Quinnen Williams is the answer. Let's analyze over the cap. Okay, let's analyze. Let's go back to the teams here first. Dallas Cowboys, where do they sit in the cap, you ask? How much? Dallas has $31.1 million. That's before any restructure, or before any more extensions. I mean, there's not much more they can do other than cut people in the offseason. If you look at just next year, their cap space drops down to 9 something, but that's because there's going to be guys that are not going to be on this team that they're going to let go, and you're going to gain a lot of cap space. So they have plenty of cap space. Over $31 million after 6 weeks is pretty darn special. Now, let's go to the New York Jets. Not her, the Jets. The Jets, okay. They're 0-6. They need draft capital. They're not going anywhere. Who's the highest salaried guy? Accounting $21.5 million on the salary cap. One, Quinnen Williams. Are they ready to win? Justin Fields is a horrible. Sorry, Justin. Not great. Garrett Wilson is really your only asset. Breece Hall, we've heard about being included in trades. Let me see. Yeah, we'll leave it here. Yeah, we've heard him being included in trades, okay? His cap number for this year, it would be the balance of this year. So you minus 6 games off of that. 21.58. Okay. What's the cap number for next year? Well, it goes up for the Jets. $26.6 million. Okay. Do they want to keep him? Are you win now mode? You just signed your coach for a 5-year deal. I don't know. You tell me. 2027. $30.4 million. He's the number one guy on their cap. That's going to allow you to get something, okay? I believe he's off the books. Oh, no, in 2028, a 28.9. So you have him for 3 more years after this year because it's 0 in 2029. So you have Quinnen Williams for 3 more years under contract after this year. Dallas went to the Jets first. The reason why the Jets didn't want to do it, why? Look at their cap space, $11.799. Micah was going to cost, okay, even if they structured it, it was pretty much going to eat all of the cap that they have left. We don't know who they want to resign. We don't know anything. But they need flexibility, especially if you're having high draft picks. Okay? So they were not in a position to go out and get Micah Parsons. They didn't say Quinnen Williams was untouchable. Now, what would it take to get Quinnen Williams? Well, you just showed how much he's making. It would not be the 2 first-round picks. That I can tell you. Not with that age of a player. How old is Quinnen Williams? Let's look. Let's look and see. The Quinnen Williams he's 6'3", 303. His bio. Let's look at his bio here. He was the 3rd overall pick in the first round in 2019. He's 27 years old. He'll be 28. He will be 28 years old, went to the University of Alabama. Okay? That's my biggest fear right now is for Kenny Clark to go down with an injury, and then because what made Osa so good was playing on the same line as a Micah Parsons. So in this defense, you could have 2 studs, and then you rotate in Solomon Thomas, and Osa on passing downs. But run downs, you give me Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams and rotate other guys in there like Jay Toia. Mosley Smith needs to go. My opinion, maybe you can include him in the trade. That's not going to add any value, but that'll take some. I think he's getting paid at this point under $4 million. So that's what I would say do. But I'm saying you're going to have to give up a 1 this year. I don't care if it's if it's our 1 or the Green Bay 1. Obviously, if you give up our 1, it'll be worth more because as we sit now, we are a worse team than Green Bay. We don't know how it's going to end up, but odds are we're going to be less than Green Bay. So you give us our 1 and throw them a 2 next year. Not this draft, the following draft. Okay, space it out a little bit. That will get Quinnen Williams. You will have him for 3 years following this year. That's what you want. And you say, well, why Quinnen Williams? Well, I've already laid out our defensive line coach has a history with the player. They reached out to the Jets first for this player. I do believe that the trade market's going to be hot and heavy. I believe the Jets are open for business. I believe Miami's probably open for business. I believe that Tennessee, Jeffrey Simmons, we keep hearing Jeffrey Simmons, but we're hearing he's not available. Don't ask me why. The coach just got fired yesterday. Everybody should be available. And the coach threw the first-round pick under the bus, which is probably why he got fired. He threw him under the bus on the way out, Cam Ward. So let's look at Quinnen Williams' stats. Okay, let's look at his stats. He was drafted in 2019. He played 13 games. He had 28 tackles, 15 solo, 2.5 sacks as a rookie. In 2020, 7 sacks. Now that's from the defensive line position. 13 games played, 55 tackles, 32 solo, 7 sacks. Forced fumble, 2. 2021, 16 games. 53 tackles, 36 solo, 6 sacks. Again, anytime you can get about 5 sacks as a defensive tackle, it's dominant if you're stopping the run at the rate that this guy is. 2022, 16 games played, 55 tackles, 35 solo, 20 assisted, 12 sacks in 2022, Quinnen Williams. 2023, played all 17 games, 62 tackles, 39 solo, 23 assisted, 5.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery. 2022, and then 2024, last year, 16 games, 37 total tackles, 25 solo, 6 sacks, and then this year through 6 games, he's on pace again, 23 tackles, 13 solo, he has 1 sack, 3 forced fumbles, 3 through 6 games. I'm predicting Dallas trades for Quinnen Williams, and if they don't, somebody else will. It's a perfect marriage made in heaven. Jerry Jones has spoke. He spoke. Let's listen in on what he had to say regarding them using their draft capital.
Jerry, y'all had mentioned when you made the Micah trade and you acquired Kenny Clark that he was brought in to help the run defense. Why is that part of the trade not worked out the way you wanted it to?
Well, but the trade was to help the run defense. There's no question about it. And actually, Kenny Clark is playing very, very well. Micah's part was to help the pass rush, I'm sure. And I don't want to even get into what Green Bay might have been thinking, but that was to help the pass rush. And, of course, the mighty, let's look at the results at the end of a period of time. What kind of difference does that make? Boy, I'm glad to have Kenny Clark now. He's played outstanding. We certainly might have had less less run stop than we had without Kenny Clark. But as I look ahead here, as we go up against Washington, I'm glad we've got him in there for stopping the run. But I also am glad we've got him in there for our soundness on what we can do when we put some pressure on the quarterback. So bottom line is right now we have gotten the money's worth for Kenny Clark. To have Kenny Clark on this team, I am proud that we got him. And he's probably the first or second on grading on our team on defense.
Jerry Jones joined us here at 105 through the Fan. The offense has been very, very good this year. Dak's having a tremendous year. So knowing that the offense is that good and the problems that we have on defense, how untouchable are the Green Bay first-round picks they sent in terms of being able to get a player before the deadline?
Well, you're talking about the Parsons trade and the picks we got with those.
Yeah, like, are they untouchable to try to use to get a player at the deadline?
No, I've never. That's why I didn't understand your question, and I'm not criticizing the question.
Spend the picks.
But there's nothing untouchable. Mm-hmm. If we can improve our team and it makes sense for what we give up in the future, all of it's there. And you're right in one respect. We've got major resources that we wouldn't have had we not made that trade. A lot of people don't realize that Kenny Clark makes upward of $23 or $24 million this year. We only pay $2 of that. And so that created quite a availability for us that we wouldn't have had. And so all of that is no question about it. And I promise you, yours truly or anybody that's associated with the Cowboys has got our eyes really open in ways that we can help this defense. And certainly I don't want to preclude anything on offense either. But in answer to your question, there's nothing untouchable in our resources to help our team. And there's no way that I'm at a point right now to where I would not do something because of where we are into the season, 6 games. I would go as early as I would if we were talking 3 games back.
All right. Now, again, Dallas will trade for Quinnen Williams. They'll probably restructure, give him a little more money, restructure it, the whole deal, possibly move money down just to keep the flexibility going. Because again, you're going to be fine. Remember when Jerry said, "Well, I could get 3, 4, 5 players for the price of Micah." Okay. Expect Quinnen Williams to have a star on his helmet within a month. If not, it's egregious. Okay, it's egregious. You have the assets, you have the money. If it's a need for now and going forward, he's under contract for the next 3. You could restructure, add a year, okay, spread it out. Marriage made in heaven, defensive line. Now, the only thing I will go back to is when they hired Brian Schottenheimer. They gave him full reign to pick his coaching staff, except the defensive coordinator. And the one spot on this team where, not that he's a bad coach, because history shows he's a very good coach, but he runs a scheme that doesn't necessarily fit what they have right now. My contention is this is what happens when you put the cart before the horse and you let ownership hire coaches. You should have let Brian Schottenheimer, because he showed you that he knows what he's doing when it comes to hiring. But again, he didn't get the chance to pick the defensive coordinator. Supposedly the closed-door meeting, things are going to change. Again, when you start making in-season changes on the fly like this, it's hit or miss. You play a game where things work, but Right now, it's teetering on anarchy in the locker room. Trayvon Diggs and company do not want to play this defense. And when a player is mentally checked out, it's a wrap. So let me know what you think. I know a lot of you Jeffrey Simmons people. I'm okay with that too. I'm fine with it. But showing their interest, and Jerry Jones has gone on to say they are very happy with their pass rush. It'll get better when the interior gets better. Again, I'm not saying I wouldn't go out and get a pass rusher, Bradley Chubb or whoever. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is what they're going to do. I'm predicting what they're going to do. I expect Quinnen Williams to become a Dallas Cowboy. If they stand pat, now the only other move I would be okay with if they decided not to go with Quinnen Williams would be to bring in a Christian Wilkins. But he hasn't signed with anybody. He is a free agent that's battling the Las Vegas Raiders over guaranteed $35 million. He's in no rush to play necessarily unless he loses that appeal. And now all of a sudden he gonna miss out. He should be in. He's probably not going to take a minimum, but I would investigate and talk to and get it done over the bye week. We talked about it. There should be a few moves, but the big move will be Quinnen Williams. If I'm wrong, I'll say it. But if I'm right, make sure you come back and say, gosh, Game Time, you were on top of it. Yeah, I just have a feeling that's what they're going to do. All the dots are starting to connect. But all right, that's it for me. Let me know. Are you a thumbs up? Do you want Quinnen or thumbs down? Nah, man, I want to draft. Let me know.